In my whole life, I have known no wise people, over a broad subject matter area, who didn't read all the time. None. Zero. You'd be amazed at how much Warren reads, and at how much I read. My children laugh at me. They think I'm a book with a couple of legs sticking out. Spend each day trying to be a little wiser than you were when you woke up. Day by day, and at the end of the day, if you live long enough like most people, you will get out of life what you deserve. We both insist on a lot of time being available almost every day to just sit and think. That is very uncommon in American business. We read and think. It takes character to sit with all that cash and to do nothing. I didn't get top where I am by going after mediocre opportunities. We all are learning, modifying, or destroying ideas all the time. Rapid destruction of your ideas when the time is right is one of the most valuable qualities you can acquire. You must force yourself to consider arguments on the other side. People calculate too much and think too little. Remember that reputation and integrity are your most valuable assets and can be lost in a heartbeat. Envy is a really stupid sin because it's the only one you could never possibly have any fun at. There's a lot of pain and no fun. Why would you want to get on that trolley? A lot of people with high IQs are terrible investors because they've got terrible temperaments. And that is why we say that having a certain kind of temperament is more important than brains. You need to keep raw, irrational emotion under control. You need patience and discipline and an ability to take losses and adversity without going crazy. You need an ability to not be driven crazy by extreme success. The iron rule of nature is, you get what you reward for. If you want ants to come, you put sugar on the floor. If something is too hard, we move on to something else. What could be simpler than that? If you don't get this elementary but mildly unnatural mathematics of elementary probability into your repertoire, then you go through a long life like a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. Mimicking the herd invites regression to the mean, merely average performance. The great algorithm to remember in dealing with this tendency is simple. An idea or a fact is not worth more merely because it's easily available to you. Man's imperfect, limited-capacity brain easily drifts into working with what's easily available to it, and the brain can't use what it can't remember or when it's blocked from recognizing because it's heavily influenced by one or more psychological tendencies bearing strongly on it. The deep structure of the human mind requires that the way to full-scope competency of virtually any kind is to learn it all to fluency. Like it or not. It's the work on your desk. Do well with what you already have and more will come in. All I want to know is where I'm going to die, so I'll never go there. Acquire worldly wisdom and adjust your behavior accordingly. If your new behavior gives you a little temporary unpopularity with your peer group, then to hell with them. I constantly see people rise in life who are not the smartest, sometimes not even the most diligent, but they are learning machines. They go to bed every night a little wiser than they were when they got up, and boy does that habit help, particularly when you have a long run ahead of you. The safest way to try to get what you want is to try to deserve what you want. The world is not yet a crazy enough place to reward a whole bunch of undeserving people. Knowing what you don't know is more useful than being brilliant? If you block yourself off with ignorance, you block yourself off from success. I try to get rid of people who always confidently answer questions about which they don't have any real knowledge. Just because you like it doesn't mean it's good. I think you'll do better in life and business if you can be a clearinghouse of all disputes versus aligning yourself in them. Even if you have an opinion, keep it to yourself. Experience tends to confirm a long-held notion that being prepared, on a few occasions in a lifetime, to act promptly and scale, in doing some simple and logical thing, will often dramatically improve the financial results of that lifetime. The big question about how people behave is whether they've got an inner scorecard or an outer scorecard. It helps if you can be satisfied with an inner scorecard. I think you're looking to accept advice from people, and you want to get damn good advice that fits your situation. And if you think different kinds of advice come from a squishy guy versus a tough guy, etc., I think you're just being foolish. Life, in part, is like a poker game, wherein you have to learn to quit sometimes when holding a much-loved hand. Sit on your ass and do nothing and your life will pass you by. I have always believed that when you combine ignorance, stupidity, boredom, irrationality, envy, pride, greed, aggressiveness, dogmatism, selfishness, ambition, and anger, not much good will come out of such an amalgamation. It is remarkable how much long-term advantage people like us have gotten by trying to be consistently not stupid instead of consistently trying to be very intelligent. Most people are driven by social comparisons, which cause them to work for goals they don't really believe in. The right way to operate is to orient yourself toward getting the most out of yourself, whatever that is. Inefficient cognitive dissonance-reducing social behavior will diminish a society's wealth. You must force yourself to consider opposing arguments, especially when you find them unpleasant. Being able to do this is a helpful antidote to foolish inflexibility, fixed habits of thought, and unwillingness to admit error. Always be at war with your vices, at peace with your neighbors, and let each new year find you a better man. If you avoid learning stupid stuff and value destructive things, you will get way ahead. There's no excuse for taking on substantial risk without being paid better than average for the risk. Stay rational and consider the consequences of your behavior. Over time, problematic behavior will cause problems, so mind your actions. Develop into a lifelong self-learner through voracious reading. Cultivate curiosity and strive to become a little wiser every day. Learning from the success and failure of others is the fastest way to get smarter and wiser without a lot of pain. The ethos of not fooling yourself is one of the best you could possibly have. It's powerful because it's so rare. Take a simple idea and take Warren Buffett. What made him great was consistently trying to figure out how to think correctly and surround himself with people who would be better than he was.